Hey, what's up? It's Petrowski here, and this will almost be a mini video in the series Loot from 1,000 Pokemon, and this will actually be loot from 100 Eevee. The reason being is that Eevee is a pretty rare Pokemon to find. It's around 5% chance encounter in a certain area on the biking path left of Celadon or west of Celadon. So it ends up taking a lot longer to catch Eevees than normal Pokemon because it takes a while to encounter them and it's difficult, semi-difficult to catch them. I ended up catching around 8 EVs per hour. I did a test on stream where I got 10 in an hour, but I think that was definitely above average. I got a lot more EV encounters than normal, and I think over an average, over the entire process, I want to say I averaged around 8 EVs per hour. One of the main benefits of catching Eevee is that selling any random Eevee on the GTL is around 4K, so it is 4K minimum per Eevee. Then on top of that, 1x31s are generally more valuable on an Eevee, especially a female Eevee, although it depends because Eevee is obviously a very desired Pokemon. People need it for competitive, needing different form, different evolutions. When you have that much flexibility and that much demand for one singular pre-evolution Pokemon, it really makes prices interesting. The gender of the Eevee is also a huge driving force on how much it's going to cost. So for example, here I'm searching for a 31 HP minimum IV male Eevee, and the cost just comes out to around 9K, which is around the normal price for that breeding age group. But if I were to swap the gender to female 31 HP, it becomes a whopping 40K just for 1x31, which is crazy pricing, right? So it's just especially crucial with Eevee specifically to check what gender it is and where the IV is placed when searching for how much to sell it for, because the price gaps are so huge. Okay, something I wanted to touch on really quickly that I almost forgot is that the reason why female EVs with 1x31s are so expensive is because people want Pokemon, they want the baby to be that Eevee, right? They want to breed evolutions, they're very popular, and there's only a 12.5, I believe, 12.5 chance for a wild Eevee to be female, and then an 87.5% for it to be male. Okay, that's enough about cost. I'll talk more about general process. So here I am starting in Celadon, and you go west towards where that Snorlax usually would be, and you go down the Biker's Trail, and there's a patch of grass where Eevee, right here, where Eevee is. You can see a couple people here farming Eevees, looking for fun, looking for money making. Eevee is a 5% chance of encounter here. It's a rare encounter. I would just run back and forth, up and down here. The general process is mostly just running into them and running away. You just run away from every Pokemon until you find an Eevee. Have my typical utility Smeargle here to help me with that. But yeah, it's a lot of just running away. It's not a very entertaining grind, but it's kind of exciting specifically because when you do find an Eevee, you're like, oh, like finally, and it's exciting. And you only find about 8 per hour, so they mean a decent amount. It's a decently meaningful grind. Okay, moving on from all of that, I want to say this grind took me about 15 hours, which is about half the time a normal grind would take. Usually a loot from 1,000 video takes around 30 hours to catch all the Pokemon and do all the editing, do all of the recording, sorting, etc., etc. And selling, of course, is a huge part of it. This one ended up taking around 15 hours, maybe 20 after editing and stuff like that, so it's about half, maybe 10 hours less of time. Okay, I think that's plenty of intro. This video should be a lot shorter than normal. I'll be right into sorting, and I'll see you guys when I've sorted everything. I'm really excited to show off the EVs because there was a bit of a monster catch during this short, quote-unquote, grind. So I'm excited. I'll see you guys then. Hope you're having a great day. Peace. Okay, all of the EVs have been sorted, and here's all of the random freebies without any notable IVs. I separated them by gender because there is a decent price margin difference, which I didn't even notice. So there is 63 male EVs, which will sell for around 4K each, and that ends up being around 252K revenue, but then subtracting the listing fees, which will end up being around 60K, it ends up being around 190K, 200K, sort of price range for pure profits, around 200K profit from the males. And then any random female EVs actually sell for around 8K each, which I was really surprised by. So we have 12 of those, so that ends up being around 96K revenue, and then subtracting the listing fees probably ends up being around 84K, 85K profit from the female EVs. So super fucking nice so far. Super easy free profit that you wouldn't see in a normal grind because I would usually just release these for any normal loot from 1,000, but seeing these sell for 4 to 8K each has been Really nice. It feels really refreshing, you know? Okay, so that does end up leaving me with around 274,000 Pokeyen profit just from the random EVs, which is that's crazy. That's like equal to like one normal batch of like a full batch usually of profit from like another poke. So super cool to see. Just happy with that. Okay, and now moving on to the more complicated stuff, the more pricier stuff, all of the 1x31s. These are sorted in a very specific way. Okay, so let's start in the top left corner with this first batch of 8 EVs. So these EVs are all male and have 31 IVs in non-desired spots. The two desired spots being speed and special attack. Those ones go for a lot more, which are the top right batch. But anyway, let's stick to the top left. The top left are all male EVs with 31 HP, attack, defense, or special defense. And these will go for around 10k each, so that adds around 80k revenue. And then the second batch, the one on the top right, which you heard me just mention, are the more desired EVs. So these EVs will all have a 1x31 in either speed or special attack. These will go for around 20k each, which is super nice. 5 of these, so that's an easy 100k, which easily topples the revenue of the top left one. So pretty nice. And now on to the EV patch of 3 in the middle right. So these EVs all have a 1x31 and a 1x30 and are male. So people will often try to buy like Pokemon that are 2x31, but if you're on a budget, a lot of people will search for a 1x31, 1x30, which costs significantly less than 2x31. So you're saving a lot of Pokeyen for a 1 IV difference, right? So people will love to make that budget change within stats that aren't required to specifically have 31, like speed. These EVs will all sell for around 25 to 35k, leading at around 90k revenue from these 3. Okay, and now onto the bottom left, and this patch is the one that'll be the hardest for me to sell for sure. Notids are always the hardest to sell. They're just a very specific buyer and a very specific search in the GTL, so it's hard for people to just find what they need with stuff like this. These will probably sell for around 10k each. I want to take a wild guess. I would say 5 to 10k, maybe 5 to 15k. So 10k each is probably fair. So let's go 60k for this patch of 6. Okay, and then the last EV in the box is the one in the bottom right, which has 31 special defense and then 25 plus and some other stats, which is super nice, but it's hard to find a right search and the right price to add those on. We'll kind of just bump it up a little, but this EV will surprisingly go for around 40k minimum. I might try to go for like 50k on it just because it has these nice supporting IVs where this one is just 31 special defense. But that is, for example, this one's a more comparable one at 41k, 42k. So maybe I'll just sell it for around 45, but we'll see. Very beautiful EV, very nice. Crazy to see that a female EV with 31 special defense goes for 40k minimum. That is very, very beautiful. Okay, and then if you're an observant viewer, you might have noticed that in my inventory, in my current Pokemon party, I had 2 EVs here. First, let's start with this one, the God Breeder. I was very, very happy with this EV. The only thing wrong with this EV is the Jolly nature, unfortunately. Looking at the IVs, 27 HP, 27 defense, 31 special attack, 30 speed, 25 special defense. Beautiful EV. Unfortunately, male. If this was female, it'd be it'd be so much more. It would be so much more valuable. But that's okay. If this was timid, then wow. Timid or modest, this could have just straight up been a beautiful UT for something like an Espeon, and that would have, or like a Jolteon even. Ooh, that would have been absolutely beautiful. Still a beautiful breed. I'm gonna guess this goes for around 140k would be my guesstimate. The only comparable EV, so here's my EV. The only comparable EV that I found on the GTL to it was this one at around 119k. Yeah, or no, that one's worse. 110k. This is a good price one. So this one for 110k, and this one doesn't have the 31 special attack. It has 31 HP, which is way less valuable, or the 30 speed. So my 31 being placed in special attack, and the defense is below 25. All mine are 25 plus. Yeah, so mine's just overall a better EV compared to this one, like by far. This one's going for 110k. I think I could easily eventually sell this one for like 140k, which is pretty astronomical, dude. For this to be a 140k EV is just, whew, wow. So that's nuts. We'll see how that goes. Moving on to the craziest catch of this grind, and maybe the craziest catch of any loot from video so far. Whew, here it is, the pride and joy of this grind and the pride and joy of many grinds to come and up until this point. As you can see by the title, 3 times 31 ... what the fuck. 3 times 31 female. The fact that this was female is insane. A 3 times 31 female Eevee with the 29 speed to boot is insane. This is easily a 300 to 400k Pokemon Eevee on its own, which really shoots the price up of this grind and of like the full profit of this grind an insane amount. During price check, I'll probably have a price where I bring it down to like a 2 times 31 because I didn't have any of those. That might make the price more attainable and be more averaged out, because this is not average. This is not normal. This is built different. This Eevee is one of a kind, beautiful. I was also thankful enough to get this Eevee on stream live, so I'll probably try to find or cut a clip from my stream and throw that up on my YouTube elsewhere. Not in this video, but look for that. Okay, I think I've actually covered all of the EVs now. Now it's just time to run over specific numbers and, make things outlined cleanly, and I'll see you guys wherever I plan to do that. See you there. Okay, yo. Guess I'm a bit of a notepad boy now. So here we are, starting with all of the EV profits sorted out. I went ahead and subtracted the listing fees, so we didn't have to go through the revenue versus profit. We could just go through straight profits for all of the EVs. So as we talked about prior in the video, the random EVs came out to 274k. The 1 times 31 male EVs with undesired IVs, remember that's not being 31 special attack or 31 speed, so that includes 31 HP, 31 defense, 31 attack, and 31 special defense. Those came out to around 72k in total profits. The 1 times 31 male EVs with desired IVs being 31 special attack or 31 speed came out to 95k profits. And then the 1 times 31 and the 1 times 30 male EVs came out to around 85k profits. And the noted EVs coming out to around 50k post listing fees and post taking time to sell them. The singular 1 times 31 female EV coming out to 40k profit. The God Breeder EV coming out to a beautiful, sexy, delicious 130,000k profit of Pokeyen. And then the holy grail of any grind so far, and maybe some future grinds to come, the 3 times 31 female EV that came out to around 350k profit minus listing fees and given some time to sell. And then the only costs remaining are the Pokeballs. I bought around 300 Pokeballs because I tested out for around 10 EVs and found out that on average it takes around 3 Pokeballs to catch 1 EV. So I bought 300 for the 100 total loot, and it ended up being pretty correct. I think I ended up with around maybe 12 Pokeballs left. So this was a pretty accurate number, a pretty accurate guess. I'm happy with the number of Pokeballs that I bought. That cost around 60k for all of those. And then the total profit ended up being around 1,090k Pokeyen, subtracting the 60k costs, leading at around 1,030k Pokeyen, but I just evened it out at a solid 1 million Pokeyen profits to make it easier and to subtract for any unseen fees. Maybe it takes multiple listings to sell certain EVs, etc., etc. So 1 million Pokeyen profit for a 15-hour of in-game grind. And that only leaves us at around 66k Pokeyen made per hour, which is really surprising and very little. It really shows that this grind isn't a solid, consistent moneymaker. It's really more of a take a break, come here, have some fun. If you love EVs, hunt some EVs sort of thing. This shouldn't be a grind you're doing every day unless you really love EVs. If you're trying to make Pokeyen, this really isn't the best grind. Especially that's considering the 3 times 31 God tier EV that I caught, the female EV, and the God Breeder. Those were 2 very lucky catches. This could easily drop to a 40k or 50k Pokeyen per hour method, given worse RNG. It could be given a lot more, given insane RNG. But the bottom line is this isn't a method to be done consistently. This is a method to be done to take a break and for fun, and if you enjoy EVs, and to refresh your love for the game and refresh your love for a different grind. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and have to rate this around a 4 out of 10 in terms of method. It's a very refreshing method, but it's just not the best for Pokeyen at all. Very below average. I wouldn't know if I'd go as far to say it's bad. I might go as far to say it's bad. It's bordering the brink of the edge of bad, if not below average for PokeN per hour. So yeah, solid 4 to 4.5 out of 10. The refreshingness of it is a very important factor. It's very different compared to other grinds because you're searching for one specific encounter instead of constant catching of like a 50% or 100% chance encounter, which can be nice for some at times. So it's important to keep that in mind. Okay, but that's it for the numbers. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the outro. Okay, thank you all so much for watching. I truly do put a lot of effort and work and scripting and hours and time and etc. into these videos. I really enjoy them. I really do. But they are a lot of work, so I hope they can bring some people some information, some education, some entertainment, mildly maybe. But I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Just remember to subscribe if you like the content. Dislike the video if you don't like the video. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, etc. Have a great day. That's the most important thing. See you guys.